We've been waiting all summer and all spring for NFL football, and we have a weather delay, so we have to wait for some more. We did have about 2.25 worth of action tonight. Some lots of offense, no defense from both teams. We can maybe discuss the game a little bit, but we're going to discuss the Week 1 NFL picks mostly. Before we do that, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, wearing something from the merch store. It is our money laundering T-shirt, which I wore this in Vegas, and I got such great reactions from it. Like everyone was on the strip was like, "Yeah, money laundering," and one of the cashiers is like, "Oh, what kind of money laundering do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't tell you, otherwise I get in trouble." So, and then some guy like high fived me at what was it, the Cosmo? He like ran up to you, hugged me, and like high fived me. Yeah, well, I'm in money laundering. We used to money launder in the day. I'm like, like just because I'm wearing a shirt that says money laundering doesn't mean I launder money. But anyway, you can get that shirt as well as everything else on the merch store. We have a 20% off sale. You can change the colors of these shirts. You can get long sleeve hoodie, women's tank top. We can get infant onesie if you want. We have our mug. We have our famous apron. We also have my books here on Amazon. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people in this book. I think you guys have a lot of fun reading it. And otherwise, please consider super chat, super stickers. It's the best way to support the show. 2 nights ago, we had super chats from Armac and Slew. So thank you guys so much for keeping the show going. It really means a lot because YouTube ads pay nothing. I say that all the time, and it's true. They pay like a little bit more than nothing now that it's later in the year, but back in like January, February, March, it was pretty brutal. So thank you so much, guys, for really supporting us, and really it's the best way to help us out and keep us going. All right, we are joined once again by Evan Daniel. Evan, I haven't spoke to you in like months, and then now you're on two times in 3 days. So it's great time. One of my favorite time of the year. We get to talk football here, and we're going to talk Week 1 FO picks tonight.
Yeah, no, this is great. Twice in 3 nights, and I changed to Thursday nights. I saw a little bit of your show last night with Andy, and you confused some of your audience with your shuffling of guests. And
Yep.
You and I are going to do a Circa Million contest entry together, and I think that really should be the focus of the pick show, because now, as of a couple of hours ago, we have Circa lines, and the Circa lines will not move. They lock when they come out Thursday evening. And that gives us a little bit more context as opposed to saying on a Monday or a Tuesday, well, let's see where this line moves, and ultimately give people a chance to see how you and I will go through our picks. And sometimes we're going to take games that you or I might not necessarily agree on. If you have like a pick of the month and I'm kind of iffy on the game or not a real opinion, we may go there. Or a game that we may take because of line value. I'm very into the line value. If we see teams that are -2.5 or 2.5, but the real number is 3, maybe we take a favorite at -2.5, or vice versa. Maybe we take a team +3 when the market's 2.5, just because of the value. And if you really look at those half points and points throughout the season, really makes a huge difference. And this is a contest where we need to go 60%. We need to go 3-2 every week to really be in the running as the season progresses. So that's the goal every week. Obviously, we'd love to go 5-0 or 4-1. But we'll take 3-2 every week and see where the chips fall.
Yeah, let's just go 5-0 every week and not sweat it. Obviously, that's a lot tougher than it sounds. But yeah, we were going to try to do that. Try to win this contest. I would love to do so, and I feel like I think our collaboration is going to be great because I think this works both ways. Like you could talk me out of some bad plays. Like for example, last year I can remember I liked the Browns against the Saints, and you were like, "This is stupid." You didn't say this is stupid, but like I could tell you were thinking like, "This is a stupid play, Walt. Don't do it." And then so you could have talked me out of that for our contest, and then I'm sure you had some other plays where I tried to talk you out of it. I don't know if any come to mind, but I feel like our collaboration will be able to talk each other out of dumb picks. So I'm very optimistic in this partnership. So I think we're gonna have a great year handicapping the Circuit Million contest.
Yeah,
So,
and sometimes it's handicapping the handicap, right? So I'm listening to. I may agree with your pick, but I may hear a logic behind it and think like, well, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Completely debunk a theory, and then maybe we get off that game.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's important. I kind of see after conversations how you may think or what you may be stuck on throughout the season. Last year, you were really stuck on that Ravens secondary, and for the most part, right about it. And it was just something that I didn't really care about. I thought the Ravens secondary, while not great, didn't really make a difference. I still thought they were one of the top teams in the league. And you and I have had conversations already about Cincinnati and how bad their defense is. And I think their offense is going to be so good that they're not going to be a top 5 team, but I have them in my top half of the league at least. Just wanted to number 13, and I'm pretty sure you have them significantly below that mark. So, and we'll go through that as the season progresses. It doesn't necessarily mean I like the Bengals every week. There's certainly going to be spots and situations where I'm for or against them. But hopefully there are things where I might find, or you might find in my handicap, that just don't make a lot of sense. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? He's probably right. And therefore maybe we lay off some games. So that'll be the goal going forwards, to kind of figure out, let's each have 5 or 6 or 7 picks, but let's see where we can agree. And hopefully those are the picks that are quote unquote the better ones.
Yeah, I had the Bengals 18, so it not like too drastic. We're 5 apart, so
right. But I know you have them losing this week from
yes.
your picks, and
yes,
you have them 18th. You certainly don't have the Browns in that level, but situationally, and we'll get to that game later. You're totally on the others. You're on the Browns. Obviously, if you have them winning, you might play a money line. Clearly, even though you have the Bengals as the better team, the situation and the spot for you, there must be a real strong reason for that. So we'll get there maybe in a couple of hours. But we're starting the show a little early. We're all going to be bored for the next hour as we watch them talk about the weather here in Philly for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah,
and this game probably won't start again until probably close to midnight. It's my guess.
Yeah, sounds like 11. They said 11:15, 11:30. So I don't even know about that. Probably 11:30.
Yeah, that's what they tell you now to keep people engaged instead of leaving for the next hour. I don't think this game is starting. I was looking at a weather report. Looks like there's going to be heavy rain until a little bit after 11, and then they have to come back onto the field and warm up again. Who knows what these? They'll milk every minute of advertising dollars they can get, the NFL.
Oh yeah, they're going to make a lot of money off this for sure. And so saying, please note, this is a spit-free show. Spitters will be ejected. I can't believe it. I didn't even see it live because I was putting my son to bed. I just saw. I was reading to him. I had my phone, like I was like had one eye on the phone, like on the ground, and I saw Jalen Carter ejected. I'm like, what? Come on, the game didn't even start yet. Like, what is happening here? So that, I mean, his absence has made a huge impact. Like Dallas is running a lot better than I thought they would because there's no one in the interior, and it's not like Milton Williams is not there anymore. Like they at least had depth there, like Fletcher Cox in the past. They had depth there, but like that depth is gone, and Jalen Carter's gone. So like that's just a big deal. It's something to keep in mind with the Eagles. I think if they have injuries to Carter or Jordan Davis, like there's not much depth. There's far less depth than there was a year ago. So, but as long as they're healthy, they should be fine. It's like waiting for your plane to think, oh, yeah, exactly. It feels like it. All right, let's get to these games. And I don't think we need to touch on the Chiefs Chargers too much because we would need to submit our contest card early. I believe it would be like, 3 o'clock? I think that's what he said.
I think we should talk about that game because I was going to ask you, I think I saw today from our good friend Andy that picks would be due tomorrow, 3 o'clock.
Yeah. And
I told you that in my past, I generally always submit my picks anyway on Friday afternoon, and I think we both like Kansas City tomorrow, and maybe we want to talk about that a little bit. If we can find a bunch of other games that we're comfortable with, is there really going to be that much that changes this week versus other weeks that we don't know, right? Is anybody that's a game time decision, concussion protocol, something that comes to mind often. We want to see if a player clears concussion protocol or specifically a quarterback. But this week, I think we pretty much know who's playing in these games where an injury report isn't going to make a difference. And submitting tomorrow by, I think it's 3 o'clock our time on the East Coast. Is that right? Is it 3 o'clock Pacific or did he say 12 noon?
It's noon Pacific, 3 our time.
Noon Pacific. So we won't have all the injury reports out, but I actually really like Kansas City in this game. So, and I think you do as well. Yeah. As a 3-point spread, I think Kansas City wins this game. They always find a way to win this game. I have them winning by about a touchdown, maybe 6 to 7 points. I think it'll be a one-score game. I think it'll be relatively close, but that's just what you come to expect when you watch Kansas City. The Chargers without Slater, I think, is a problem. I think we mentioned this a little bit when we talked about the Kansas City win total the other night. I think this team is playing with a little bit more passion. A lot of these games that they have I mentioned I'd love to fade their 1 o'clock afternoon start time against lesser opponents,
Yeah.
but they seem to play half their games at night in prime time. This game's no different. The only thing I would be concerned about here is the field. If you remember back to last year, the field was like a swamp
Yeah.
for Philly Green Bay, and that doesn't bode well for pass rush. It doesn't bode well for Mahomes moving around in the pocket. A team that relies on speed with Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, that they could be somewhat nullified by a bad field. And I have no idea what the weather is in Brazil or how the field is going to be, but I just from memory from last year and from looking at games, whether it be in Wembley or other areas overseas, you have these fields that are just swamps. So I don't know if that convinces you to wait or if you don't like the Chiefs enough to really consider it. But at -3, I made this line 3.5, and anything under 3.5, I thought at worst we're going to push. What are your thoughts?
I made this line even higher. I made it 6.5.
6.5. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there's a huge difference between these teams. The Chargers made the playoffs last year, but they didn't beat any good teams last year. They feasted on a very easy schedule. I guess Denver, like they beat Denver twice, but still, this is a team that hasn't won a big game in a long time, like in Justin Herbert's era. And like, yeah, they have a new head coach now. It's a lot better than the other guy, but still they didn't beat any good teams last year. They got swept by the Chiefs, who weren't that good last year, as the record indicates. They got destroyed by Baltimore in that Monday night game, and then they got destroyed by Houston in the playoffs. And yeah, they crushed the Titans, like whoop-de-doo. Like I think this team's overrated. They even lost Joey Bosa from last year, and I know that Bosa isn't quite what he was before, but still, it's a downgrade defensively. I think they have one of the 5 worst defenses in the NFL potentially, and they have injuries on the offensive line. To Slater and Becton may not play, so it's a concern here. I don't think this Chargers team's that good, and I think the Chiefs, with their enthusiasm, which I mentioned a couple of times this week already, like they just seem fired up and eager to play, and like we might see just more effort from them this year because they just got blown out in the Super Bowl. So I think that this is a big advantage for the Chiefs here, and I like backing the better team in these weird games, like the weird environments. I just think that just favors the better team as long as they're focused. And the Chiefs will be focused for this game. Obviously, divisional matchup, first game of the year, off the blowout. So I love the Chiefs here. If you wanted to back them, I would be on board doing so. Now, we would miss out on some potential news, I think.
That's
a year,
the problem.
well,
That's
a year,
the problem.
right? A year ago, yeah, you wouldn't expect much for Week 1, but like a year ago, here's an example. The Browns, who looked like a trending home underdog pick against Dallas, we found out on Friday that both their tackles were going to be out. So they couldn't block Parsons and everything. So they just got destroyed. A couple years ago, before that, I think it was 2022, I want to say, we found out on Friday that the Packers are going to miss like half the roster. Everyone was like questionable or doubtful for that game. And the Vikings ripped them apart in Week 1. So it's like less significant Week 1, but you will have like an occasion or two where you'll get sort of a free square, not quite a free square, but sort of a free square. And you'll so I don't want to miss out on that. But like if we're looking at the rest of the games and we're scrambling, we can only find like 3 picks we like together, then maybe it's worth submitting the Chiefs. So I feel like we could even like circle back to this after we're done all the other games. And if we don't find games we like, we can just submit the card early.
What do you think about the field? Is that anything that causes concern for you?
I mean, maybe they fixed the field. I don't know. It was NFL on ice last year. It was ridiculous. I don't know if they fixed it. I don't trust the Brazilian field to be fixed, but it could be. So
The reason
I
I
don't.
bring it up is because the Chargers are more of a smash mouth, run the ball team, whereas Kansas City is more finesse, right? They're
Right.
looking for those speed routes. They're looking to get to the outside, receiver bubble screens in the flat. That's a lot of what they do, relies on spreading the offense and then opening things up in the middle for Kelsey.
Mhm.
So a slow field is not something that I'd be excited about. But I just still feel that the Chiefs will, as usual, especially against this opponent, find a way to win. And at worst, we're looking at a push. So, all right, let's come back to it.
Okay. People are sad about Christian McCaffrey. He has a calf injury. Guys, I told you, I was screaming about this all year, all summer. Do not draft McCaffrey. I said I wouldn't draft him until the fourth round. Like this guy is not going to play that much this year. He has chronic Achilles tendonitis. Like that doesn't go away, and he's 29. What if the Chiefs are looking ahead to the Eagles? They're not going to look. If this were a game against the Browns. Like yes, maybe, but like this is a divisional game. It's a 3-point line. It's an international stage. Like they're going to be up for this, and there's extra time for that game. I have no concerns about look ahead. Do you? I don't.
No, not in week one.
Yeah, week one. Only the Bengals looking ahead to the Chiefs. That's the sort of
Right.
potential look ahead you have. All right, so let's go to the Sunday games. We have Steelers -3 here. I have the contest lines up too here. The Steelers are also -3 in the circa. So not a surprise there. I was kind of holding out hope for 2.5, but I didn't expect it. I personally love the Steelers. Tomlin got to see Justin Fields in practice every day. Now, I know that doesn't mean everything. Like for example, the Niners got to see Sam Darnold every day in 2023, and then he just shredded them last year. But I mean that Minnesota team was really good, and the Niners were already very banged up for that game. So it's not like it's automatic, but the Steelers are a really good team. Now, Cam Hayward may not play. That could be a concern. There is something for week one, but I just think the Steelers are a much better team. The Jets are a team with a new coach, new quarterback, and I love to fade that dynamic in week one. It's like 30% hit rate, like over the years I checked, and it is pretty brutal. Last year it went 1-3. The only team to cover was the Patriots because the Bengals looked ahead, and the Bengals were no show in that game. So, plus the Bengals didn't have T. Higgins either. I like the Steelers at -3. Tomlin wins close games. If this were greater than 3, I wouldn't have much interest because this feels like a high chance the Steelers win by 3 and we push. But I think that there's a good chance the Steelers win by 7 or so. Like we saw against Atlanta week 1 last year. Mike Tomlin came out with a great game plan and they dominated that game. So what are your thoughts on this one? Because I like Pittsburgh a lot.
I would take the Jets +3. I would take Pittsburgh -2.5. And this is where I said the other night when we talk about game theory and contest theory, the super contest line's 2.5 and the circle line is 3. So if I'm laying 3, I can't lay 3. If I were on the Steelers, I would have a harder time looking at it because I would say to myself, well, I can take the Steelers at 2.5 or I can bet the Steelers at 2.5. So in a contest, laying 3 is just not the right move. Now, I happen to think that this game is going to – I really don't know what to expect from Rodgers. I think Fields is not good. His accuracy is certainly poor, but you need some mobility to escape the Steeler rush. And I think Fields at least can make some plays with his legs, neutralize the rush with running the quarterback or screen passes to Breece Hall. And I think that's what will happen. I'm not high on Rodgers starting the season. I know there's revenge factor, but I don't think that Rodgers comes in and lights up the field. So I could see this game being a 17-16, 19-16, 20-16, 20-19 type of game. So I would lean towards Pittsburgh winning. I do think the Jets are certainly a live dog in the game. But when you talk about contest lines, if we were talking about 2.5, I would consider giving it to you more. At 3, I would take the Jets at +3.
I think that the Steelers, with Rodgers, I agree. I don't think he's going to have a great game, but the Steelers should be able to run the ball on the Jets. The Jets have an awful run defense, just nothing at nose tackle. And, billionaire Arthur Smith is going to be able to run the ball with his, I don't know who, but he figures he's going to be able to run the ball in this game. So yeah, I mean, we don't have to put this on the card. This will be on my card personally. But real quick on Fields, I'm not worried about his mobility here. Like the Steelers are built to beat Lamar Jackson. Like they built their defense to defend him, and so I don't think they're going to be caught off guard by anything Fields does. So I think that gives them an advantage here.
Yeah, I don't think Fields is going to light up the building and put up 27, 30 points. I think the Jets are probably in that 16, 17, 19 range. I just look at the Steelers as a team that wants to play defense, wants to run the clock, wants to run the ball, and they're not going to be able to run up the score either. I don't know that I agree so much on the Jets defense being so bad. Anytime you have a new coaching staff come in, I'm always willing to give them, especially a defensive coach. I actually mark the Jets defense as a slightly above average defense. So I don't think they're a bad defense. What were they last year? I want to look yards per play. I love the metric of yards per play. It's one of my go-to stats that I look for throughout the season.
Hmm.
And in 2024, on a yards per play basis, the Jets were actually the second best team in the league. Now, a lot of that was before Saleh was fired. Obviously, they dropped off after Saleh was out. And that's one of the reasons why I'm optimistic on the Niner defense this year is because Saleh's back. And when you change that coordinator or coaching staff, sometimes there's a boost. So I just don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. What is the total in this game? The total in this game is 38. So you have a low total. You're looking at a game where I think Pittsburgh's over under is probably what, 19 and a half, maybe 20 and a half, probably less, probably 19 and a half points. So I just don't like laying points with that type of low scoring game on the road. And the kicker for me, of course, is that the line's 2.5 everywhere else. So
Hmm.
if this line were painted 3 or 3.5 or 3 with juice towards the favorite, I would be more comfortable with it. But this line is 2.5 pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So I would lean towards the Jets getting the 3 points, and I don't think this would be a contest pick for me.
Okay, yeah. Just to be clear, I didn't say the Jets' overall defense would be bad. I actually do like it. Their pass defense should be really good. And I like their pass rush, but their run defense is like historically the past like several years has been awful. And like, yeah, I'm on a weekly Jets podcast during the regular season, Play Like a Jet by Scott Mason. He always laments the run defense. Like we talked about that this offseason too. He's like, Walt, when are we going to fix the nose tackle issue? It's been years. I think their run defense will be bad, but pass defense should be really good. Jadon Blue, droppable. I maybe, yeah. It depends who you can pick up, but the fact that he wasn't active today is kind of very Dallas is a stupid organization. I don't know, but anyway, if you have a roster spot, I would keep him. It just depends who's out there. All right, let's get to the next game. Dolphins and Colts. I really don't have a strong read on this one. Do you have like a good read here? Because I hate both
Well,
these teams.
originally, I was surprised when the line opened several months ago. I was surprised when the Dolphins were favored.
Hmm.
I have the Colts as the better team, and they're at home, and I thought they should be favored in the game. Then, of course, the line flipped. The Colts were favored, and then when the lines came out, I saw a one. I'm like, oh, the Colts are -1. And then I realized, wait a second, the Colts are on the right side. So for anybody who follows contest picks, the right side, the even side, is the underdog side. I'm like, wait a second, there are dogs in this game again. So that line flipped back towards Miami. I don't have a strong opinion because I don't want to back Daniel Jones. If you're asking me to pick Daniel Jones to win a game, I'd
Hmm.
rather not be betting that. But I think the Colts are the better team. I also know that Miami is very banged up. They have a new offensive line. I heard you talking to Andy about the Dolphins last night, and Andy, of course, likes the Dolphins over. I don't understand that. I really
Yeah.
don't. I was way on this under. You were as well at 8.5. The line dropped by a full game. Lines don't drop by a full game in win totals very often. They drop the juice. Maybe they drop a half a game. That's very telling that this line dropped a full game. So maybe Andy didn't have an opinion at 8.5 and liked it more at 7.5. But this team has a terrible, terrible defense. They have no secondary. There's a guy named Storm Duck starting at corner. Their receivers are banged up. Tyreek Hill already has an oblique injury. Waddle is already banged up. Darren Waller is always hurt. I don't think he's played in the last couple of years. I can't remember the last time he was healthy. And we know Tua doesn't want to take a hit. So now there's no left tackle. At least in the olden days, they had Taron Armstead, who was there at least for half the season. You knew he was going to get hurt at some point. Now Patrick Paul is their left tackle. Their only good offensive lineman is the right guard, and that's not such a valuable position. If you don't have a right tackle and a left tackle, and you have an immobile quarterback who tends to get hit and hurt, who wants to get rid of the ball, to speed receivers who are hurt, I don't see how they move the ball really. So I lean towards the Colts. I don't really want to take the Colts in the contest because of Daniel Jones, but if you ask me to pick the game, I'd be on the Colts side.
Okay, yeah, I can't. I don't want to pick this one. I hate both these teams. I want to fade them, and I was very sad to see them match up against each other. I would take the Dolphins just because I think that they're the only edge here is that their pass rush, which is like the only good aspect of their team, plus HN. Their pass rush against the Colts offensive line is kind of in shambles right now because they lost their center, right guard, and Braden Smith, the right tackle. He had some mental disorders, so I hope he's well, but he also has an injury too, so I don't know how healthy he is. So feels like they should be able to rattle Daniel Jones, and we know what a rattle Daniel Jones can do. So I would take Miami, but I'm not I'm not going to come anywhere near picking this one on the card.
Right. And I have all this Miami under money, so
Yeah.
I'd rather just root against Miami and call it a day.
Yeah. Alec Ingold.
Alec only, yeah, of course. I do
All
like
right.
my fullbacks.
Yeah, for sure. So does Mike McDaniel. All right. Panthers at Jaguars is the next one. I was very sad to see this go to 3.5 from 3. It's 3.5 in the contest. I still like Jacksonville, but the 3.5 is a very tough number to back. 3 is the most likely result of any football game, and especially if the line is 3.5, it just gets magnified. But I do think Jacksonville's a lot better than the Panthers. I think the Panthers are I called them the hipster pick with Andy on last night. I think I did with you too. Like, it feels like everyone likes them because they did well in 3 games that they lost last year. Like, this team sucks. Their defense is awful. I don't trust Bryce Young. You still can't see over the line of scrimmage. I don't like Tyrone McMillan all that much. I think they do have some good things going for them, like their offensive line. Chuba Hubbard, I think, is good. Derek Brown's coming back, but still, like, this team has a lot of holes. And I think Jacksonville, with Trevor Lawrence healthy for the first time in 2 years, is pretty big. I don't like that this is Liam Cohen's first game as a coach, so that is a negative. But I still would take Jacksonville. If you really want to sell me on Jacksonville, I could put on the card, but 3.5 is a tough pill to swallow. What do you like here?
Well, I made the line 4, so I was surprised when this line was 3.5. I immediately highlighted it as a pick, and if I don't need to sell you, other than to tell you that I may use Jacksonville as one of my survivor picks.
Okay.
I don't think Jacksonville's that good of a team. I think they're a very mediocre team. They certainly could be better with the new coaching staff, or they can be the 6-7 team win that they've been for the last couple of years, and Lawrence can get hurt, and who knows? Or maybe he just doesn't like or care about football. But I'm leaning towards using the Jaguars as one of my survivors because I do trust them to win this week. And I don't really see a lot of other opportunities to use them throughout the season. So an opportunity to burn a mediocre team in Survivor, to me, is appetizing. Now, as far as laying for contest purposes, I would still take Jacksonville. Now, I really don't like laying more than 3. There really has to be a good reason for me to do so. And I think you kind of nailed it with, I think Carolina is one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the league. And they won or came close to winning some of those games last year. First of all, everybody almost beat the Chiefs last year. So
Sure.
That was one. They almost beat the Eagles in a game where the Eagles were just totally asleep.
Yeah.
So that's your typical 1 o'clock game on a Sunday afternoon and Philly doesn't wake up for. And yeah, they should have won that game. Who dropped the pass in the end zone? I think it was
Liga.
Yeah, wide open play, drops the pass. But I still don't like Bryce Young. He may have played a little bit better. So what's he now, the 25th best quarterback instead of the 30th best quarterback?
Right.
He's not any good. I don't like that they traded Thielen. Thielen was really good for them. He was a good security blanket for them. And I also know that in Miami or in Jacksonville, when you're the road team in September, it's nice and hot.
Yep.
And you're standing out there, and these players might not be ready. And I don't think that defense is any good at all. I think Carolina's defense, they're one of 2 defenses I graded as an F. And with Liam Cohen coming in, I'm always skeptical of the new coach. But maybe it energizes the team. Maybe Travis Hunter energizes the team. And maybe Trevor Lawrence doesn't overthrow receivers on every 3rd and 6. That guy just throws the ball 10 yards over his guys' heads. But with Hunter and with Brian Thomas Jr. and a new coaching staff and the fact that they're going up against a really bad defense who's going to be sitting in the sun all afternoon, I would lean towards Jacksonville to win, and I'm not opposed to laying 3.5.
Yeah, didn't McMillan say he didn't love football? Yeah, it's kind of an issue there. Okay, yeah, I mean, look, we can maybe take Jacksonville on the card. Hopefully we find some better lines rather than back a 3.5. But I'm willing to do it. They're not going to quite make my card, but they're like honorable mention. And if
right now, same for me. They're kind of like borderline. I had them like 5, 6.
Yeah, I would say probably 6 or 7 for me. Like if a couple games fall apart because of injuries, like they might make it for me, but we'll see. All right. The next thing coming up, I think we're going to agree on this one. The Giants at Redskins. It's +6. Andy stopped me from calling them Redskins last night. So I call them the Redskin commanding football team. The Giants are +6. On the contest, they are +6 as well. So I was happy to see that 6 is the 3rd most likely result of any football game. So glad to get the 6. I think the Redskins, we talk about look aheads. It doesn't happen often week one, but this reminds me of Bengals last year where it was obvious, like they're looking at the Chiefs and then the Redskins looking ahead to the Packers on Thursday night, especially with Parsons there. Like they know Parsons well, and suddenly he's there. And like, this is a way more formidable team. And we always have the look at to Thursday games. Like that happened often last year. It's not like a guarantee, but this is just such an obvious spot. And it's a divisional game, but they swept the Giants last year. The Giants are seen as this bottom feeder, but I don't think they are that bad anymore. Like they added some good defensive pieces, Javon Holland, Abdul Carter. They got a little bit better on that side of the ball last year anyway with Okereke and whatnot, and Brian Burns. And then offensively, their offensive line is not that bad. And Russell Wilson is going to be a million times better than what they had in DeVito or Drew Lock. And they still have Neighbors is healthy now, relatively speaking. So, I think this should be closer than 6. I think this is going to be a 3-point game. Wouldn't surprise me if the Giants pull the upset. So I like the Giants quite a bit here. Do you agree?
Absolutely. This is one of my top 1 or 2 games on the board. And it's, when I look at Survivor, again, Washington stands out as a potential Survivor pick. And that's probably one of the teams where I'm thinking of taking out to put in somebody else, maybe an overlap another team, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I happen to really like Washington. I know everybody's on the regression train. Washington's going to fall back. They're going to win 8 or 9 games. I think Daniels, or as I call him, cousin Jaden, is really, really good and can make up for a lot of flaws in that team. I don't like some of the signings. I do like Tunsil, but my feelings on Debo. I think he's more of a fullback or offensive lineman than he is wide receiver. Javon Kinlow's a bust. Also, Sam Cosmi's out. And what we do know about the Giants, say what you want about Russ, I don't really like him that much, obviously, but their defensive line is going to be great. They have a lot of talent on that line. If Abdul Carter is as good as what everyone says he is, plus Thibodeau, plus Dexter Lawrence, plus Burns, that team is going to be in games. Now, I have them under for the season just because the schedule is a nightmare. But I think they're going to be very competitive. And as much as I don't like Russ, you said it, he's better than what they've had. So they'll be able to score. Washington's defense is not going to stop them from backdoor covers. I think they could win this game. It would not surprise me at all if the Giants won this game. But I do expect this game to be close, and I expect Washington should win. I don't know if I agree with the look ahead to Thursday in week 1. I hear you. It's something that I often look for throughout the season is who's playing in that Thursday game. But given that it's week 1 and it's a divisional opponent that they don't like, they should not be overlooking this game to look forward to Green Bay on a Thursday. But what they can do is if they're up late in the game, they could take their foot off the gas with a lead, with a 10, 14-point lead, run, punt, run, 3 times punt. And now the back door is open because what's going to happen when the Giants are down by 14 or by 10. Wilson's going to chuck up a ball. There'll be a PI somewhere and late field goal or late touchdown to lose the game by 3 points or 6 or whatever it is, 4 points will cover for us. So I agree with you all over the Giants here. A definitive contest pick for both my super contest and our circle.
Yeah, I wrote it down on the spreadsheet already. All right, Bengals at Browns. I think we'll agree on this one too. I think so. The contest line is Browns +5, and in real life, it is either +5.5 or +5. That is not as much of a big deal as you're talking about the +3 and +2.5. But games don't land on 5 that often. And frankly, I don't know if we're going to need the points here. I think the Browns win this one outright. Now, maybe the Bengals win a close game, but either way, the Bengals always play poorly in Cleveland. They've only won once in Cleveland since 2017, I believe. So obviously, Burrow has only won once there, and I think last year that was with Dorian Thompson-Robinson starting, or maybe a decrepit Deshaun Watson. But anyway, the Browns have Flacco now, who's not great anymore, but he's better than what they had last year. And the Browns had the better defense by far in this game, like it's not even close, and they have the better offensive line. The Bengals have obviously the better quarterback and the better receivers and a better running back, but that's it. Like this is a team with only 4 great fantasy players and Trey Hendrickson, and that's it. And they're poorly coached. They always do poorly in weeks 1 and 2. They're 1-9 straight up with Burrow and Zach Taylor in weeks 1 and 2. Given that, as well as the fact that they always struggle in Cleveland, like Myles Garrett just tears apart that offensive line like so easily. So I love the Browns here. They're my pick of the month. So I'm hoping that we're on the same side here.
Yeah, we're on the same side here. And I typically, as we go through contest picks throughout the season, I really have done very well over time with the medium size, those 3.5 to 6.5 point dogs. I really tend to lean towards those teams. When I look at my card, when I send in the card on Fridays, I always look, oh, how many mid-range dogs do I have? If I have 2 or 3 of them, I'm very comfortable. So I don't have to repeat all the points that you just mentioned. I do think the Bengals are going to win this game. I like the fact that Burrow, even for limited action, played in the preseason, and they kind of got a little bit of some momentum going, some feel for the game. And I think this year, after the last 2 years of failure, and what's Zach Taylor, 1-9 in weeks 1 and 2 over the last couple of years. So, obviously that's not a trend I would want to be on the same side of. But I do think they're going to win the game. I just think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be one of those annoying 3-4 point games. I think I made this line 4. So I don't think we're getting huge value. I would be I shouldn't say I'd be very surprised if the Browns won, but I absolutely think the Browns will have a lead or come into that back door because Cincinnati's defense can't keep up. So, and Flacco will throw the ball around. He's certainly not what he was 2 years ago, but Cincinnati's defense is not going to stop anybody. For them to be laying more than a field goal, close to a touchdown on the road, you have to take the other side.
There's that difference in the power rankings because you had the Bengals at -4, I had them -3. So to me, where I'm getting great value. To you, you're like just a little bit of value. But either way, we like the Browns. So I wrote that down on the spreadsheet as well. So we're off to a good start. We have 2 picks so far that we like a lot together, and we have several games to go. So hopefully we find some other ones. Next one is Raiders at the Patriots. Now I'm not a fan of this game. Actually, Andy surprised me about this one. He's like, he hates the Patriots this year, but he likes them in this game. And I'm like the opposite. I think the Patriots will maybe get to 9 wins because they have such an easy schedule, but I'm not sure if I like them in this game just because you have Max Crosby going against an offensive line I don't trust yet. And I don't know. I like the Raiders have new coach plus new quarterback, but this is Pete Carroll, who's been around forever, and Geno Smith has been around forever. So I don't think that really applies to them. Some people might look at this as like 1 o'clock early start time. I know people like really fixate on that. And it's kind of like, it's like been a 50-50 thing for many years. Actually, Pete Carroll is 16-10 against the spread in a 1 o'clock start game. So not too worried about that aspect of it. But I would take the points here. I think this is a game between 2 very tight teams. This is what is this in the contest 2.5. Yeah. So yeah, it's tough to take the plus 2.5, but I'm not like ready to bet -2.5 on the Patriots. So what do you have a strong lean here?
I don't have a strong lean. One of the things I did in some of my summer homework was looking at each team's last year ATS record. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see what you were as a favorite, what you were as a dog in different price ranges. And I was looking for what was New England's record as a favorite. And I was like, I can't find New England. I'm blind. I'm scrolling through. I'm looking for New England on the page. I'm using control find. Where the heck is New England? Then I counted them all up, and I realized there's only 31 teams on that chart because New England wasn't favored a single time last year. So for about 5 minutes, I'm going crazy that I'm blind as a bat, and I can't find New England as what their ATS record was as a favorite. So there you go. They were never favored last year. Now all of a sudden, out of the gate, they're favored.
Right.
So here's where I land on this game. I lean towards the Patriots after all that because I love Vrabel. I think he has done so well with mediocre to lesser talent with Tennessee, and I think he's going to be a massive, massive upgrade to what they had. Now, Carroll, I've never been a huge fan of Carroll. Call me a Seahawk hater, but I've never thought Carroll was such a great coach or even a good coach. He's not a bad coach. He's not Mike McCarthy coach, but he's not Vrabel. I think Vrabel really has proven that he could take – I think the Patriots defense is going to be really, really good. I worry about their weapons. I'm not the biggest Drake May supporter. At -3, I would have said, give me the Raiders at +3. Live dog, toss-up game. Why would I lay 3 points? But at 2.5, that's kind of actually where I made the line. And I expect New England to come out home opener, game 1 with this coach. And I really don't care about a team traveling for an early start game in week 1. I usually don't care about that in any week with travel these days. But I lean towards the Patriots to win. I just can't see myself putting this as a contest pick.
Okay.
I need to see a little bit more of New England. And I would be very happy to bet New England as dogs, but laying points, I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah, look, it makes sense. I like Vrabel a lot too. And I'm not like a huge Carroll supporter either. But Some Papa Surf said Will Campbell's going to bully Max Crosby in his first game. That would be very impressive if he did that. No, I see what you're saying. I do like the Crosby edge, but I'm so torn on this game. I'm not coming close to betting on this game at all. I think maybe
I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't put money on this game.
No. Teaser Raiders plus 8.5. But I'm not really ready to bet this game. So we can move on to the next one. The next game is Cardinals at Saints. The contest line is Cardinals minus 6.5, and that is what it is right now across the board. I just think that Arizona, the far better team here. Arizona is a team that just squashes bad opponents. Last year against teams that were not playoff contenders, were 7-1 against them. The only one they lost was at Carolina late in the year when they kind of they also didn't take Carolina very seriously, and they just allowed big play after big play to the Panthers. So that's like the one team they lost to last year that was bad. But yeah, they usually like come up big in these games. And for the Saints are starting Spencer Rattler, I think easily the worst quarterback in the NFL. The Saints team as a whole is terrible. They have no pass rush. They have no secondary anymore with no Marshawn Lattimore. Just like this team is just a shell of itself. Now it is week 1. Weird stuff happens week 1. I remember the Colts of Phillip Rivers were like -8 or something at Jacksonville, and they lost, and that was the only game Jacksonville won all year. It's like weird stuff happens week 1. So maybe Arizona loses, like maybe the Saints have a surprising outcome, but I think that Arizona is the right side here. I think this is a blowout. So kind of I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
Well, this is either a game where you don't believe in laying points with Arizona on the road, or you don't believe in Spencer Rattler as an NFL quarterback, and you just can't pick the Saints no matter what. And I fall into the second category. I said last year there were a number of quarterbacks that were backup quarterbacks who were getting real time, and you couldn't make the power ratings high enough against those teams. And here, I can't back the Saints. There's just – what game was it last year? I think it was the Denver game. I think it was a Sunday night or a Monday night, or it was a night game. Probably
a Thursday game against Denver Saints. That's what you're thinking of, right?
And they scored what? They scored 0. They got blown out. It was like 38-0 or something like that.
I think they scored a touchdown at the end. I think it was like 43-8 or something.
Yeah, you just can't you can't take those points. Oh, it looks juicy to get 6 or 7 points with a home team against a mediocre, maybe slightly above average Arizona team. But I can't be on the Saints if I don't trust that they can score points. New coaching staff that I don't know that I trust. I know I don't trust Rattler. I said it when he was in college. He bounced around a little bit. He was in South Carolina. I don't remember where he ended up. But I didn't like him in college. I didn't like him last year as a backup. I told you before he played last year, eventually they're going to put in Rattler and he's going to be terrible. He was. And I just don't see it. So I'm not taking the Saints. I don't know that I want to lay 6 points, though, with the Cardinals for a contest perspective. In a pick'em pool, give me Arizona. I'll lay the 6.5. Survivor, I'm likely going to take Arizona as one of my picks. Even though I don't necessarily love taking road teams, I'm going to go through that again tomorrow, but Arizona right now is one of my 5 Survivor entries. But as a contest pick, laying 6.5, I'd probably rather not lay the points.
Okay. I'm going to put that.
I have them winning by double digits for the record.
I'm going to put that in the maybe pile here for Arizona. So we have Giants, Browns for sure. Yes. Arizona is going to be in my pool, but we'll see if it makes ours. Mike says Evan's going to be great on Thursdays this fall. I agree. Kenny on Tuesdays, Andy on Wednesdays. Great lineup. Yeah, basically, if you're confused by this, everyone moved down one day except Evan moved up 2 days. So we have Kenny going from Wednesday to Tuesday, Andy going from Thursday to Wednesday, Tom going from Saturday to Friday, but Evan goes from Tuesday to Thursday. So
I feel like I rose in the pecking order.
Yeah, exactly. So Papa Source said, do any players from that Patriots Raiders game from defense perspective? Travion Henderson for sure. I love Travion Henderson. You can play Dante Thornton if Christian Gonzalez is out. He's very cheap, and I like Drake May. I like his rushing ability. That defense for the Raiders should be good up front, but they have a lot of issues in the secondary. So I think Drake May could have a good game as a rusher. So you could play those are some guys you can play in that game. Okay, so last of the early games, we get to Buccaneers at Falcons. This line has moved to 2 or 1.5 in real life, and in the contest, it is still 2. It's not 1.5 yet. It's still 2. I was a little confused by this line. I think these teams are even. I have them right next to each other in my power rankings. I think the Buccaneers losing another offensive coordinator just really hurts. They won't have their left tackle. I know the Falcons won't have their blindside guy either. But still, one of the reasons why the Buccaneers are so good last year is because their offensive line was elite, and now their best player up front is out. Yeah, Evans is 32, could slow down. Godwin's out. McMillan's out. I love Ibuka, but still. I'm not, and I don't like Tampa's defense at all. I like Atlanta. I don't like Atlanta's defense. Atlanta's defense is going to be better than Tampa's. I like Penix more on Atlanta. I think Penix much better than Kirk Cousins was last year. He was an interceptions machine. So the point here is that Atlanta should be favored, at least in my opinion. I made this line -1.5. Now, you might not think like 2 to -1 is 1.5 is a big deal, but in my calculations, 2.5 to 1.5 was what it was like a 7% difference or something like that. So, you add 7% to what you normally to like a coin flip, but like that's 57%. You hit 57%. That's close to the 60% benchmark that we were talking about. So I would consider Atlanta on the card here. I know Tom, who's one of my other partners in the circa, he loves Atlanta, so I think they're going to make our card. The Eagles Cowboys about to start now. So I like Atlanta. I don't love them. If you really like them, I'd be more than happy to put them on the card. What do you think?
So from a season-long perspective, I have the Bucs number 12, and I have the Falcons at number 20. And I think I saw in your power rankings you had Falcons at 14, unless you changed that. But for this game,
I did not, no.
For this game, when you talk about all those injuries, Wirfs is a huge loss. The receivers are a huge loss. The defense, I saw Vita Vea may not play or is questionable. I also thought the Falcons should have been favored. Now, I don't love 2.5 point spreads because I don't think there's a huge amount of value. I think this line is 2. I don't think there's a huge amount of value ultimately when you're taking a team that I think should be -1 and you're getting +2. You're basically playing a pick'em game. But I'm surprised that the Falcons were not favored in this game. I have them winning the game. I did put them in as a potential pick. It's not one of my favorite picks, but it's certainly a pick that I would absolutely consider. This was the game last year where Cousins threw for 500 yards.
Yep.
So I'm not projecting Penix to throw for 500 yards, but I think the weapons are there. Atlanta at home, and we've seen a lot of these NFC South games, specifically with Atlanta, Tampa Bay, where it goes back and forth with the Koo field goals. Koo will for sure miss a field goal at some point. He may miss an extra point at some point. We got a big 3rd and 11 here for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
he stopped. So I can see this game being one of those back and forth 17-16, then it's 20-17 or 23-20 or 24-23. You get that back and forth late situation where one team is down by 1 or 2 points and they only need a field goal. So I can see this game being a very close game and Atlanta actually covering even on a loss. So it sounds kind of strange to say, we're getting 2 points, and therefore I think there's a little bit of value. But I really do think there's a little bit of value at +2 because I think they're going to win. And I think there's a chance, given their history with these two teams in this matchup, where the game will go back and forth within that 1 to 2 point range. So I don't love it as a contest pick, but it's definitely a game that I would consider.
Yeah, games land on 1 or 2 on short lines. 5 is about 5% of the time. So it does come into play sometimes. It may not seem that way, but it does.
But it's not just the 5% as a whole. This team specifically, how many times have you seen Younghoe Koo lining up for a game-winning field goal and they're down by 1 or down by 2?
Right, always, yeah.
I just feel like they're more of a team. I don't know the statistics on it, but I can almost guarantee you that of that 5%, Atlanta plays a larger portion in that than, say, the Eagles or the Ravens or the Bills. When the Bills win, they win by margin. When the Ravens win, they win by margin. When the Chiefs win, they win by 3. When Atlanta wins and loses, a lot of times it's by 1. So
that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I'll put that in the maybe pile as well. So maybe we'll take Atlanta there. All right, so late afternoon games, Titans at Broncos is the first one. In real life, the Broncos are -8.5, and that is exactly what they are on the circuit card. I think you like Denver from our texts. You're mentioning that. And I think if this were middle of the season, I think I would like them as well. But what really bothers me is, I don't know, I have to hear your opinion on this. Sean Payton is another notorious slow starter. He is, since he got back from that suspension he had for the whole bounty gate, he is 3-18-1 against the spread in weeks 1 and 2. Like that. Look, I don't like trends like that. That's something scary to stand in front of. I don't know what to make of that, but then like his teams just start slowly, and he's lost multiple times as a huge favorite to the Buccaneers. Like he was favored by 10 and 9.5 in New Orleans with Drew Brees, and they lost those games. So I don't know. What do you think about this one? Because I'm very torn here.
I don't really pay much attention to that trend. I hear you. I've heard people say that a couple of times with Breeze back in those days when they lost to Tampa or they lost as a 13-point favorite. I'm not reading into that really at all here. To me, the bigger trend is the rookie quarterback making his first start on the road, especially in a place like Denver, who has the defense to get after Cam Ward. Now, let's talk a little bit of Cam Ward. I liked watching him in college. He holds the ball a little too long and tries to make plays with his legs. As I was watching him last year, I kept thinking to myself, he's going to pull a Caleb Williams, and he's going to come into the NFL not understanding the speed of the defense, and he is going to try to make a play with his legs, to hold the ball too long. I would bet, if the bet existed, that he leads the league in sacks or in times getting sacked. I think he's going to take a ton of sacks. Not a great offensive line, not great weapons. I know they have a good offensive line coach, Callahan, but I can see him holding the ball too long. Now you have guys like Nick Bonito on the other side, the Denver crowd. I don't think that he's going to have a lot of success in that game. Last year, Jaden Daniels got blown out in week 1 and then turned around. Even if Cam Ward has a nice season, which he might, he could lead this team 5, 6, 7 wins and be competitive half the time. I don't see it in week 1. Going back to Denver, last year, Denver won, they win 9 games last year? I think 8 of the 9 games last year, they won by 14 plus points, or 7 of their wins were by 14 plus points. And another one of their wins, I think they won by 9 or 10. So when they won last year, they really won. Now, I don't think Denver is that great. I told you the other night, I bet the Denver under 9.5 wins. And I'm probably on an island there because I know a lot of people love Denver. Denver is the sexy team to beat Kansas City in the division. To me, Denver's probably going to win 8 or 9 games. But I think this is one of them. And this is the one team that I'm potentially willing to overlap as a Circa Survivor pick. Like I said, I have 5 entries, and I'm not sure if taking 5 different teams is the way to go. I'm almost guaranteeing myself losing one of those entries. But I really don't want to double up. But if I had to double up, this would be the one team that I'd be very comfortable doubling up on. And I also, especially from a contest perspective, and especially with a team that I don't think is that great, I very rarely will look to lay more than 7 points or more than 6.5 points. But I think the situation here, I just don't see how Tennessee moves the ball with consistency against that front with the rookie quarterback on the road. And we know that Bo Nix and we know that Denver last year looked to pile on some of those wins. I could see this game being a 31-13 type of game, and I'll take the -8.5. And I did put this down as a potential top 5 contest pick just because I really trust Denver to win this game, and I don't think this game is going to be competitive.
Okay, I see a backdoor cover. I mean, you mentioned Jane Daniels losing to Tampa on the road, but I can give you Bo Nix, who was down at Seattle but had a backdoor push. It wasn't a cover; it was a backdoor push. So it could be something similar here, I think, with Cam Ward. I like Ward as a prospect. I like the offensive line. It's not great, but they did make a couple of nice signings, I thought. It's like Zeitler, Dan Moore, like these are like real players. Then they moved their first round pick to right tackle, so I think he's going to be better there. So I think this is a decent offense. I hate their defense more than their offense. I think their defense is atrocious. So Denver should be able to move the ball pretty easily, and this game definitely could get out of hand. Like you could be right about this one, but given Sean Payton's just like inability to just do well in week 1, I mean, how many times? I can't remember how many times like he had a much better team in week 1 with the Saints and Drew Brees, and they lost outright. Like they lost to Ryan Fitzpatrick outright at home with Drew Brees. Like, and that Buccaneers team is awful. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not betting Tennessee. I'm definitely not betting Tennessee, but I do have some concerns with Denver though.
You're never going to find me this season fighting to take a favorite by this margin.
Right.
So it's not like I'm sitting here saying we have to take this game. This is a no-brainer pick. No such thing, especially laying all these points. I just, in my history of my own handicapping, I wouldn't have even thought to take Denver. I would have seen that line. I don't think Denver is as good as what everybody says they're going to be. And to me, this is not a team that should be favored by 8.5 points. And I would always take the dog in this equation. And I would always lose. And I would always look at it, it's like, wow, why am I getting blown out in this game? Like, I'm taking this team, they're down 14-3 already, or it's 21-6 at halftime. And there's a reason for that. These rookie quarterbacks making their first start on the road against quality defenses just don't perform well. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason this line has steamed from, what was it, 7? Did it open at 7?
Yeah, it was like,
it opened at, no, I think this opened at 6. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you're right. I originally made the line 6 in my initial early May power ratings, and then bumped it up to 7. So even at 8.5 feels high, but I just kind of talked myself into it where I just don't want any part of the Titans in this game. But like I said, not fighting for the Broncos. They'll probably be my super contest card. I'm kind of between them and one other team, but I do like the Broncos in this game.
Okay. All right. Well, we can rehash this maybe later if we can't get to 5 teams. All right. 49ers, the Seahawks. Then this line has dropped to 1.5 on the Chris McCaffrey news that he has a calf injury. Surprise, surprise. Man, this is rough. I thought at least we get one game out of him. We may not get one game. But look, this is what is this in the cards? 2.5. I don't know. Like this is another one where we're going to have info later. And McCaffrey makes a big deal. You said this on Tuesday. The McCaffrey in the red zone just makes this team a lot better because in the red zone last year, they just were an abomination. So,
he's the MVP of the team.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If McCaffrey plays, then I would like the Niners. I think they're the better team. I don't think Seattle's good. I think Sam Darnold sucks. And I think he will definitely have regression this year with no Jefferson, no Kevin O'Connell. Seattle's defense is good, but I just think the Niners as a whole are a better team. So, but that's with McCaffrey. If they don't have McCaffrey and they're playing Robinson, Garendo, I actually like Garendo a little bit because like he's a big guy who's fast. Like his percentile, like I was talking about this with Kenny, who does our fantasy show. I was like, Garendo is one of the best athletes we've ever seen at running back. His athleticism, like relatively athletic scores, like it was like 9.99. It was like the 0.01 percentile. I just don't think he's like a good runner, but like I just want to see what he does, no, I like the Niners here. If McCaffrey plays, if he's out, I still think I'd lean toward them, but with far less conviction. What do you think?
The contest line's 2.5. I know the super contest is 2.5.
Circa's 2.5, yeah.
Circa's 2.5 also. So I made this line 3. And without McCaffrey, I would probably knock it down to 1.5. So again, not much of a difference to me between that 1.5 and 2.5. I still believe the Niners are the better team. And I was surprised originally when I thought they'd be, in my head, I thought they'd be favored by more. But if he doesn't play, that's a huge loss. I'm not sure how much I would love them in this game without McCaffrey. I do like the Niners in general because I mentioned Saleh. I think Saleh is going to make a huge defensive impact this season, even with younger players who might not be as good as what they had in the past. But I think Saleh is going to be a major improvement defensively, and I don't like Darnold behind that offensive line. We talked about Darnold with O'Connell and with the roster that Minnesota had. It's not the same roster in Seattle. It's not the same coaching staff in Seattle. And it's obviously not the same offensive line in Seattle. So I think the Niners have the edge defensively. And offensively, the problem with the Niners, as I've said many times on this show, is that they punt on 4th and 2 from midfield, and that they kick a field goal on 4th and 3 from the 20-yard line. Mm-hmm. They are constantly looking to kick with a bad kicker, who they only kept because they foolishly drafted him in the 3rd round. So they didn't want to cut their spoiled milk, so they kept their kicker, who, by the way, he hit a 59-yard field goal in the preseason. And then the next game, he comes back and he misses an extra point in the first score of the game. I was losing my mind watching this kicker. They attempted 6 field goals in a preseason game against the Raiders, which is just simply unacceptable. So I don't trust the Niners or the coaching staff to win by margin because when they're ahead, they take their foot off the gas, and they're probably better off if the game is tied late. But without McCaffrey, it's hard to back them when I don't really know what I'm getting at. I don't know who's playing at receiver. Is Juwan Jennings? All of a sudden, he gets a contract, some incentive bonuses, and his calf feels better. Ricky Pearsall's otherwise their only healthy receiver.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm getting out of their offense without McCaffrey, especially really in the passing game. I'm not so much worried about the running game. I'm more concerned if he's not in the passing game because McCaffrey is unbelievable out of the backfield. Runs those choice routes into the flat, over the middle, and that's where they really could play mismatches against linebackers, especially with Seattle. So if he played, I really like the Niners. If he doesn't play, I still like the Niners, but not as much.
Yeah, I think
that might be the only reason why maybe we don't take a Kansas City and lay picks tomorrow, unless this is the game. Unless we take Kansas City like instead of the Niners, theoretically.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
because I would like the Niners and Kansas City if I knew he was playing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's what we could do is instead of worrying about McCaffrey, who we may not even know by Saturday.
We play the Chiefs, so we know we're going to win by 3 or more.
Exactly. So maybe that's what it comes down to. So we'll see. All right. Next game is Lions at the Packers. In Circa, this is Packers -2.5. In real life, this is dropped in some places to -2. And I think that's because of the Parsons uncertainty. He may miss this game. He might have to take an epidural, and the Packers do have a game in 4 days, so that might be a reason why he could sit this one out. But I think he will play, and because this is a huge game. The Packers got swept by the Lions last year, and I think this Lions team is going to be worse than they were last year. They lost both coordinators, which is a huge deal, especially week one. Like when you have to prepare for you have to prepare for an opponent here with a great opponent with a great head coach in Matt LaFleur. I think he's really good, and he has a great track record in week one as well. So I think the Packers get their revenge here. And the Lions losing both their center and their left guard from last year. I think that's a huge deal. Center, one of the best centers in the NFL. And, we'll have to check the weather as well because Goff isn't very good in these bad weather games. So I like the Packers for a number of reasons. And I made this line -3.5, I think. I think the Packers are better than the Lions. I don't know if you disagree with that, but to me, I think the Lions definitely take a step back this year. And I think the Packers take a step forward. So it's me, Packers here. And they might make my contest card. I'm not sure yet. What do you think?
Well, I agree that the Packers take a step forward, and I agree that the Lions take a slight step back. But I still have the Lions as my 4th best team in the league. And with the Parsons trade, I moved the Packers up to number 8. So I still have the Lions as the better team, and I still have the Lions that are favored in this game. Now, I don't think Parsons is healthy. And I don't know. He may come in. He could play sparingly and still have an impact on the game, which obviously makes a big difference. I mentioned the other night that I think he makes a more intrinsic value difference now just because it kind of signals to the team that we're all in. We're ready to go. And I think it has the opposite effect on Dallas, although I haven't really seen it have such an opposite effect on Dallas tonight. But I think long-term, that Parsons move will make Green Bay a lot better. But not necessarily in this game. Now, the weather would concern me. If there is a weather factor in this game with Goff outdoors, if there's any sort of wind or rain, I don't necessarily love that. And obviously, I think Ben Johnson was a great coordinator, and we saw what happened to the Eagles a couple of years ago. But just because it happened to the Eagles doesn't necessarily mean that the Lions are going to fall apart. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt for at least the first month of the season. And if we see that there's really issues offensively or defensively, and it's a coordinator problem, or we think it's a coordinator problem, then maybe I'll readjust. But I think Hutchinson coming back really will help that defense. That defense was really poor last year. They certainly had Green Bay's number. And I'm not a Jordan Love fan. I mentioned this last year a few times. 2023, in his starts, he had 300 yards only twice. His 64% completion is really not that good. In 2024, he had 15 starts. He had 300 yards once. And one of that game, that was the game they were down, I think, 28-0 against Minnesota. Otherwise, he's averaging about 225 yards a game. So I don't think that he's as good of a quarterback as everybody says he is. When he plays in the playoffs, I'm not concerned that he's going to make plays to lead the team down the field to win the games. So I'm really not a Jordan Love supporter. I think he's overrated. I think the team will certainly be better. I have them as a top 10 team. I don't think LaFleur is a great coach. I don't think he's a bad coach. I still have a bad taste in my mouth when he kicked the field goal down by 8 a couple of years ago in that playoff game.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I still think Detroit should have been favored in this game. I think they're the better team. And I think this game is going to be a very, very interesting game to watch. I have Detroit winning by a field goal. It wouldn't surprise me if they lost. This game did not make my card in any stretch, but I think this game is a pick-em, toss-up game, and I lean towards the Lions.
Okay, so we definitely disagree on this one. So no need to it doesn't sound like you love the Lions either, so no need to delve into this one more. Kimmy Gringo says, what about Detroit getting their defensive players back? Well, they're not getting all their defensive players back. Yeah, they're getting Hutchinson back. We don't know if he's going to be 100% like right away because it's not like a full year since he's recovered from that injury. And then if like Ali McNeil is not going to play, like that's a huge deal. And the Lions already have other injuries at defensive tackles. So they're not all healthy, and they lost some players to free agency. So this is not going to be the same Detroit defense we saw early last year. It'll be better than we saw at the end of the year, but it's not going to be quite the same either. So, all right. So let's move on here. So we have the final late afternoon game. It's Texans at Rams. The line is Rams -3 in real life, and that's exactly what it is in the contest. If you were to tell me Stafford is 100%. I would love the Rams here. Houston, they were graded as the worst offensive line in the NFL, and something the Rams do great, like they do very well, is rush the passer. They have Jared Verse, they have Brandon Fisk, they have a bunch of guys who can get after the quarterback, and the Texans can't protect. They lost Tunsil, like that's a huge deal. I don't think people are kind of like realizing what impact that's going to have, because their line wasn't even good to begin with, and now they lost their best lineman. So I like the Rams. But I don't know anything about Stafford's injury. Like he has this back issue. He from what I read, like he had issues walking at some point during August, but now he's been practicing every day, so maybe it's better. Maybe he's gonna be hindered by it. I don't know. What do you make of the situation? Because if you were to convince me that you're like, oh, don't worry about Stafford's back, he's gonna be fine, I'd be like, all right, let's go with the Rams here because I like them a lot otherwise. But what do you think?
So let's assume Stafford's back is 100%, no issues at all. I like the Texans a lot in the season.
Right.
I really am high on the Texans, and my only concern with the Texans is the offensive line, which could be a massive problem, obviously, but that's my only concern about this team going forward. I think their defense could be the best defense in the league. If it's not the best defense in the league, I think they're going to be in the top 3. I was very, very impressed with what they've done. They rushed the passer very well. Lassiter and Stingley are great on the outside. I think they have a lot of talent on defense, and I like the way DeMeco Ryans coaches the defense. I also like Stroud a lot. I think this is a bounce back year for Stroud, and I like the fact that they got rid of Bobby Slowick. They called way too many running plays last year on 2nd and 9. But they may have the worst offensive line in the league. And if that's the case, that's a very, very big problem, obviously. So when they play against teams that can rush the passer, and we'll see very quickly in the season, if they physically can't block and Stroud is under duress and we know he's not very mobile, then I'm going to readjust this team. But at least for the first couple of weeks of the season, I have the Rams as the better team, but not by much. So I don't think this line should be a full 3. And if I'm getting 3, I kind of like Houston. Now, throw in the fact that Stafford's back is not 100%. I mean, it can't be 100%. We've been hearing all offseason about him dealing with the back, sleeping in hyperbaric chambers and whatever else he's doing there. And Houston's defense is really good. So if I have a team that can get after the quarterback, I would not want to lay 3 points with the Rams. I would think that I have a live dog in Houston. And do I want to play Houston from a contest perspective? Again, with the line here at 3, I feel like I'm going to get a push or a win. I don't think I'm going to get a loss. So I lean towards Houston as a potential pick. So we're definitely on opposite sides of this game. But I don't know how anybody can back the Rams not really understanding what Stafford's true health situation is.
Yeah, that's a huge issue for sure. As Chase points out, the LA reporters can't be trusted either. The Rams reporters are so bad; they don't report anything. Like you have to, it's like pulling teeth to get injury and like injury reports every day. It's horrible. So I was like, yeah, maybe we'll get some info on Stafford's back. Then I'm like, wait, never mind. No, we're not going to get anything on that.
I think you just need to watch and see.
Yeah,
Right? Just watch a game, watch how he moves around in the pocket, watch if he's reaching for his back at all, watch if he takes a hit, how he gets up, and how he's grimacing or not grimacing. He's getting older. How old is Stafford now? He's got to be in his upper 30s.
I think he's 38. I'm going to look right now. Let me see if I'm right. He's 37. Okay,
37. So at some point, the Peyton Mannings of the world, Cam Newton, these quarterbacks just fall off a cliff, and all of a sudden they lack arm strength. Remember Breeze? He couldn't throw the ball more than 5 yards downfield. Every pass was a screen pass. Cam Newton was pegging the ball into the ground in his last year or two. Manning, who is my favorite quarterback of all time, could not throw the ball downfield. Just had a complete noodle for an arm. And Kirk Cousins last year. Yes, you could say he got injured at some point, but the guy had no zip on the ball. What happens if Stafford takes a hit and just can't throw? He can't throw a pass anymore. Can't throw a ball downfield. Can't move in the pocket. Against that kind of defense, no thanks. I'm getting +3 with a team that I think could very well win the game. I'm happy taking the Texans at +3. I feel like I have a free roll on the Texans because if Stafford's not healthy, because I make the line too, and if Stafford's not healthy, this line should be closer to a pick'em, if not Houston favored. So if Stafford is healthy, great. -2 to me should be the right number, and I would lay off the game. But if he's not healthy, I feel like I have a great bet.
Yeah, that's exactly why I can't bet the Rams, because if he's like hobbling around, then I'm gonna feel terrible for backing the Rams. But if he's like, he's not gonna be 100%. If he's like 90, 85, 90%, then I think the Rams can cover this one with Houston's offensive line being so bad. Like that is the weakest unit in this entire game. It's Houston's offensive line.
Yeah,
and
well, it could be the weakest unit in the league.
Yeah, and they don't have an easy matchup. This is a very difficult matchup with the Rams pass rushers. So, and I think Andy said he likes Jared Verse for Defensive Player of the Year. But then I told him the odds, and he's like, I don't think so, because they're like 15-1. I thought they'd be like 25-1, but a lot of hype with him. Anyway, let's go to the next game. It's the Sunday night game. The favorite flipped here. The Bills are -1.5 or 1. Now the Ravens are -1 in both real life and the contest. I think this might have to do with Khalil Shakir's injury. Shakir might be out, which means Buffalo will have nothing. He could be out because he's limited in practice, the high ankle sprain. So if he's out or limited, Buffalo's not going to have anything a wide receiver, which, when you have like a one-dimensional offense against a great defense, that's problematic. And Baltimore could have a great defense. I was dogging their secondary like so much last year. And Kyle Hamilton moved the secondary, and then they couldn't stop the run after that happened. They won't have that issue. They turned their secondary from a weakness to a strength with Jair Alexander and Chidobe Awuzie, Malachi Starks. Like these guys could be stars for the team. So this defense is going to prove a lot. And they still have Lamar Jackson, and I think Mark Andrews might redeem himself in this game, just have a big performance. So I like Baltimore here. I'm not like in love with them just because this is a tight line. It can go like this really could go either way. But I think Baltimore is a better team, and they have playoff revenge on their side. Not like a big revenge guy, but still, that is like something extra here. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Sit back and relax and enjoy the game.
Yeah,
I can't make a pick in this game. I think I have Baltimore as a slightly better team. Buffalo, of course, being at home. There is that revenge factor. Now, Baltimore, killed them in the regular season. And frankly, they outplayed them in the playoff game as well. They were -3 in turnovers. If not for some of those turnovers, they probably win that game. And if Mark Andrews doesn't drop a pass in the end zone on a 2-point conversion, they might very well win that game also. The pressure just completely flips to Buffalo's side. I want to believe that Buffalo will win this game because they're at home, but it's just a hard game to pick. This is probably my last ranked game. If I had to rank 1 through 16, this is a pick 'em. This is going to be a great game. This is going to go back and forth. I wouldn't bet this game. I would just sit back and enjoy it. If this is a championship game, you have to bet it because it's a championship game. But if you really had a conviction one way or that, hey, the Ravens are the better team, they're going on the road, there's revenge on their minds, there's injury concern. Is Khalil Shakir really worth that line flipping? I don't know. I feel like today the lines in Vegas, not the lines, but the casinos opened up to bigger bets. So the limits went up. So people who are bigger Ravens bettors probably just bet that side, and maybe they took some more money on that side. Or I thought originally they were looking for that teaser protection so that you can take Baltimore up to 7. But I thought Pick'em is the right number. Like I said, Baltimore's slightly better team. Buffalo's at home. To me, it's a Pick'em game.
What if we got? I mean, you said Shakir's not a big deal. What if we got news that Shakir's out? Like would that change your mind a little bit?
It does, because he's really a possession receiver. He's that third down blanket type of receiver. But Josh Allen is so good. He'll make plays. He'll find somebody that will step up. He'll run the ball himself. He'll hit James Cook in the back, out of the backfield. Kincaid will make some plays. Maybe Keon Coleman. Maybe he'll catch a pass.
Mm-hmm.
So does it change things a little bit? But not enough to sway me that, yes, I'm going to pick Baltimore with real value, because with a line of 1 in either direction, to me, there's no real value in the spread. You're picking a winner, and you have to have a real reason to pick that winner. To me, I don't have a real reason to pick Baltimore.
Yeah,
I can make a case for both teams, and neither one of them are going to be a strong argument.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't have to linger too much on that one. All right. So the last one is Vikings at the Bears. This line is Vikings -1.5. Feels like that hasn't moved all off season. It's still Vikings -1.5 in the contest. Andy and I were on opposite sides of this game. He likes Chicago a lot. I like Minnesota. You have Chicago with a new head coach, and I don't trust Caleb Williams yet. Yeah, maybe Ben Johnson turns him around, but I don't think that's going to happen in game 1 of this regime. If it does, Ben Johnson, we could just put Ben Johnson in the Hall of Fame already, because Caleb Williams was so bad last year. But I just think Minnesota has the coaching edge. I think they have a big edge in the trenches with their offensive line. That's and it's just greatly upgraded with Darisaw and coming back from injury, and they got the 2 Colts guys in the first round pick against Chicago's defensive line, which is pretty small and weak and really weak against the run. I think the Vikings should be able to run very well. And then Chicago's number 1 corner, Jalen Johnson. I don't know if he's going to play in this game, but he's been limited in practice. He's had this injury for a while, and if he's just hobbled against Justin Jefferson, that's just a big edge for Minnesota. I think Minnesota is a much better team overall. And we don't even have to lay a field goal with them. I think Minnesota is the right side here. I'm going to bet them. What are your thoughts on this one?
I make this game pick 'em.
Okay.
I don't think Minnesota is that much better. I have Minnesota slightly behind you. I have Minnesota at 11th. I have the Bears at 15.
Okay.
Power rating perspective, I have the Vikings as about 1.5 to 2 points better, and they're on the road. So that's where I land on pick 'em. You say you don't trust Caleb Williams yet, and there's no reason to trust Caleb Williams yet. I do think he'll certainly improve throughout the course of the season, but I also don't trust J.J. McCarthy yet. So he's basically a rookie quarterback. Now, I understand what you said earlier about McConnell turning players like Sam Darnold around and getting a lot out of Nick Mullins, and that's true. And we could say the same thing about Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of the season, both of these quarterbacks should improve from where they are today. But today, I don't necessarily trust either one of them, but I really don't trust J.J. McCarthy making his first start on the road at night. I really like what the Bears did on the offensive line. They really buffered that line. Tooney is a big pickup. I like their weapons. Again, similar to Ravens-Bills, I don't have a strong reason to pick either side, but I'm stronger towards the Bears, given that I trust the new coach, to improve that team more so than what they were. And I am not ready to bet on J.J. McCarthy yet. I'm just not. I agree with everything you said about their roster. I think Minnesota has an excellent roster. Brian Flores, an excellent coach defensively. They'll probably do things that will confuse Caleb Williams. But Ben Johnson also knows what to expect. He played this team twice, including in some big games last year, and took advantage each time. So I think he'll know what to do to combat what he may see. And I don't know that Minnesota is going to be ready for what he may throw at them. So for me, it's all about, I don't trust J.J. McCarthy yet as much as I might trust Caleb Williams, and therefore I would lean towards Chicago. But I do think the game is, I think as a pick 'em, that's where I make the line at 1.5. I don't see any real value to the Bears. If this line were 3, I would be all over the Bears. But at 1.5, I just have no interest.
Okay. Well, There we go. We disagree on that one. So to sum it up, we love the Giants and the Browns collectively, and have three. Well, actually, I'm gonna include Kansas City there too because I didn't write that down. And then three maybes. We have Arizona, Atlanta, Denver, and I guess San Francisco, I suppose, is a maybe too. Um, so I don't know where we stand here. We only love three games. We both love three games together. Um,
I
so
would think, and again, we don't have to finalize this today, but
right,
from
right,
perspective of where we're leaning, Giants and Browns are in,
yes,
and I think I would like to take the Jaguars. I think we both agree that the
yeah,
Jaguars are the better team. I think we both agree the Jaguars should win. The only reason why you kind of hesitated on them was because of that extra hook,
hmm,
which I think is fair, obviously, right? That hook
yeah,
is very, very important. But if that's the only reason why we're laying off that team, because hey, now if this line were 3 in the market and we're sitting at 3.5 in the contest, it would just be an automatic no-no, which is
right,
kind of where I lie with the Jets Steelers. Now, I'm not opposed to the Steelers. I do believe the Jets. I picked that side at 3. If the line were 2.5, I may say, hey, heck, let's take Pittsburgh. But I kind of have this pet peeve against taking what I deem a bad number. But with Jacksonville, I don't think that's the case. If this line moved to 4, for argument's sake, would that make you feel more comfortable laying 3.5?
slightly, I guess. I don't know. Just mentally, like that's another sign of strength. I'll say that like this line was 3 and it moved to 3.5. That's like a major sign of strength from Jacksonville. Like it's this book saying like, oh, we're not expecting sharp money to come in Carolina plus 3.5.
Right.
Um, so I don't. I'm going to bet the Jaguars. Like I am going to bet them. I just don't know. Like I just like 5 other games more than them.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm perfectly fine putting them on the card. They're just not going to make my card because I like other games. But if those games fall apart due to injury, then the Jaguars could make the card for sure.
Now, Arizona is going on your card, you said? Arizona is a team that you really, really like, laying 6.5 on the road?
Yes. Arizona will be there. I mean, I'm not going to stop fading these awful quarterbacks. I'll call them.
And that would be my reason, too. It's really just what you just said, fading the quarterback.
Yeah, I call them, and plus it's a new coach. It's like it was almost new coach, new quarterback if they picked Shuck, and it's like is Rattler really a seasoned veteran here? Like it's Kellen Moore's first game, so I'm not expecting good things out of him. But Arizona will be in my card for sure. I'm going to try to fade these horrible quarterbacks on bad teams as much as possible. Like if they're playing a team that's looking ahead and stuff like that, or potentially looking ahead, or is just in a very bad spot or has lots of injuries, then sure, I'm not gonna fade them at that point. But I am looking to fade them for the most part, and I really don't see a reason not to take Arizona. Like I said before, they sit on the bad teams. They're a decent team. Like they added good defensive players. That was their issue last year. They had a bad defense, but they added Josh Sweat. They added Calais Campbell. They spent a first-round pick on the defensive tackle. Like their defense should be better than it was last year, and they didn't lose anyone offensively. I like their offensive line. It's good, not great. But they have Harrison in the second year should be better, and Murray's healthy at the moment. So this is I think Arizona currently, I think maybe an above average team, perhaps. I think eventually they will be subpar because Murray will get hurt, but like right now, I think they are somewhat decent. So I don't think I'm not scared to take them at -6.5.
I have them as 18th in the league as a
Yes.
0, which is a completely average football team.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to taking them either, but it's more so, again, if we sit here in a month from now and say, hey, that was great. We got to go against Spencer Rattler for a couple of weeks before he gets benched. Like, why would we not take advantage of that? He's not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of quarterbacks that will come in throughout the season and injuries will happen. Quarterback will be in concussion protocol. You'll get some backup to come in. Say, hey, that's a layup. Let's get a chance. We have a chance to bet against so-and-so. Let's take advantage. So therefore, I'm not opposed to the Cardinals. I think the Jaguars might be a solid pick. What about the Falcons? I know we briefly talked about the Falcons. Not a lot of line value in the Falcons, just given the fact that it's a divisional game. The line is only 2. So you're not getting a huge bump, but we're still getting a dog at home, divisional dog, and we both kind of had that team as a favorite, or should have been a favorite. Where do you stand on them as far as the overall card?
They're a consideration. They're going to be on the card I have with Tom, who does the Saturday show, or now Friday show. He likes Atlanta a lot, and I think I like Atlanta too. Not as much. I really wish we were getting the whole +3, but obviously we're not.
That would be a
Um,
very unfair line. Yeah, I would like that a lot.
yeah, no, and I view these teams very similarly. So I'm definitely down to take them again. This is like Jacksonville. It's like very close to being on my card, but maybe not quite. Although like I love 4 games, and like the 5th one is like kind of open right now. So maybe they make the card. It depends on injuries. Like that's what the 5th pick might come down to, is the injuries, because like a lot of teams are pretty close for that 5th spot. But no, I think Atlanta's a good pick. I think like they should be favored. We both agree on that. We're going to take the team that's an underdog that should be favored. And like, yeah, it's not like an amazing line value, but still it looks like the right side to me.
By my count, we agree on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. So we agreed on the Eagles, which we lost. We agree on the Chiefs, Jacksonville, Giants, Browns, Cardinals, Falcons, and Niners. I think you said you liked the Titans, but you were not opposed to the Broncos. Again, I don't want to try to talk you into taking a team that's favored by more than a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. I think there are enough like maybe.
So we have. Are you watching this game right now?
Pickens, yeah, Pickens.
No, I'm talking about the next play.
Wait, did they run that play? Pickens didn't catch the ball. Why did they?
Pickens did catch that ball. It was a great catch.
No, he bobbled it out of bounds. They didn't challenge. Why didn't they challenge it? He obviously dropped it. Why would they do that?
Pickens, that was ruled a catch.
It was ruled a catch, but he dropped it. He didn't catch
the
ball.
You're saying why didn't they challenge it? Yes.
Yeah, they should have challenged it. Obviously, he's bobbling.
I was questioning if you saw the 1st and 10 play.
That they dropped the interception? Was that the play or
something?
Yeah.
That ball was like hanging in the air for a couple extra seconds.
Yeah.
Dak is trying to throw a pick to end this game.
I know.
He's very much trying to throw a pick. Like every single one of these balls is thrown into double coverage.
Well, Lamb just dropped the pass.
Getting back to it. So Chiefs, Jaguars, Giants, Browns, Cardinals, Falcons, and Niners. Broncos, I was saying, we may agree on it, but again, I'm not in a rush to try to talk somebody into laying 7 points. I would rather lean towards the Chiefs or Niners.
Yes, I agree.
We're on the Giants and Browns, we know. I can give you the Cardinals. I can live with the Cardinals because I do like the idea of going against Spencer Rattler. Mm-hmm. I think that's just fun. All right. So that's 3. So then we need 2 teams from Kansas City, Jacksonville, Atlanta, San Francisco.
Well,
now, if we knew McCaffrey was out, if we knew he was out, probably a team we want to lay off, right?
Yes.
But we probably won't know if he's out because they'll probably won't tell us anything. He'll probably end up being a game time decision and he won't play for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't tell us anything last year. They said he might play week 1 and he didn't play till November.
Shanahan one time last week said we might not be here next week.
Right.
Didn't he at one point in time say, well, I don't know if we're going to be alive next week?
Yeah.
He said, well, if we're all alive and the world exists, then maybe we'll play. Like, that's what he says. Like, they don't tell you. You talk about the Rams not giving you information?
No, they don't say anything.
So I think it's hard to put the Niners in when we really just don't know if McCaffrey's going to play. And up until today, I was sure McCaffrey was playing.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he has, knee issues and calf issues. I would probably lean towards taking the Niners out and putting Jacksonville in. And then it would come down to Kansas City versus Atlanta. And I'll be honest with you. I have a lot more faith in Kansas City winning the game by 3+ than I have in Atlanta in a pick'em game, even though they're at home.
I completely agree. For sure. So it would if we took Kansas City, it would be Kansas City, Giants, Browns, Jaguars, Cardinals.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a good card.
I don't like the distribution. I'm always happier when I have more dogs than favorites. But last year was a favorite year. Hold on, I gotta watch. You might be a little behind me, so I don't want to ruin this 4th and 3 play.
Well, they wasted a 2-minute warning. I don't know. Like, this is just bad coaching. What are you doing? Um, I see what happened on the CBS tracker, which is always
Oh, so
ahead.
you can't look at the CBS tracker.
I always have to look at it. I can't. I have to. I can't. I don't. I don't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Eagles get a long touchdown here to cover. I live bet the Eagles minus 3.5. So I'm rooting for that.
There you go. Beautiful.
Yeah. It was 3.5 plus 105 too. Got plus money on that one.
You know what I took in this game earlier? I took the Cowboys over 16.5 points in the first half.
Oh yeah.
And then after they scored the touchdown, I took under 17.5 points in the half, hoping to middle it. And then they kicked the field goal. And I'm like, oh, I'm great.
Yeah.
Then the Eagles scored too quickly.
Yeah.
The Cowboys drove down and kicked the 50-yard field goal.
The Eagles kept running out of bounds. Like, I was like, what are you doing?
No, I know, exactly.
They had 3 timeouts.
I had that middle.
I was so angry.
So what I do is I put a wager on the over 16.5, and I take half a bet back on the under.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the first game. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad sign for my mental state for the season. But I was just so angry this entire game. So like it just started with Carter getting ejected, like for stupidity purposes, and then you have Nolan Smith trash talking, and then Nolan Smith another penalty, that stupid Reed Blankenship penalty. It feels like the Eagles just like shooting themselves in the foot. They dropped like 1 million interceptions in this game.
Yeah, they did. They dropped 3 on this drive.
Yeah. It's like, what? Come on, like this.
That's a bad drop. I love CeeDee Lamb. That's a bad drop.
Yeah.
I know it's a tough catch, but that ball's in his hands.
Yeah.
How do you drop that?
I don't know. I hope Barkley rips a long one here. That'd be awesome.
No, but he won't because he'll go down. If he rips a long run, he's going to take a knee.
No, they have 2 timeouts. The game's not over. If
he gets the first down, it's over.
No, because they still have 2 timeouts.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Now, if they don't if he does this on 3rd down, then yeah, it'll be over. But right on this play, it will not be over. And the Eagles went out of bounds, so it still will not.
No, he ain't going out of bounds.
AJ Brown went out of bounds.
Nope, he was going backwards. Forward progress.
Okay, well, CBS tracker says out of bounds, so I don't know.
CBS,
I haven't seen the play. I haven't seen the play yet. Why am I so behind on the TV?
Like, CBS tracker is incorrect.
Okay, well,
smart play going backwards to lose the forward progress, and keep. The
official did that. Yeah, why is the stupid CBS thing wrong?
Nice play. Good job by AJ Brown.
Was that his first catch of the night?
I think so. Was that his first catch?
It was his first catch. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. He was just not involved in the game.
No, not at all. My prop lost. I had Jake Ferguson over 34.5.
I thought you had Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley to score touchdowns.
I did.
So that's a winner. You're going to take that every game.
Yeah, and I got Jalen Hurts at plus 150. I logged into DraftKings an hour before kickoff, and it said a happy hour instead of Jalen Hurts minus 150. You get plus 150. I'm like, oh, okay. So they'll take that. It's a $25 max, but still, this is not bad. Mm-hmm. And then I got Barkley at a 25% boost. This game's over, correct? Right now,
this game,
unless they ran out of bounds.
This game is now over.
Okay. Well, at least the minus 3.5 one. So
nice play on the minus 3.5. Well done.
Yeah, I was when Dallas went up 14-7. I was like, what is this line? Is it 5.5? I logged into FanDuel. My eyes popped out of my head. It was like 3.5. It was like 3.5 minus.
How did you see a 3.5? I thought I saw like a 6.5 in there.
No, it was 3.5.
They were just basically holding serve. They hadn't stopped the Eagles yet. They just had the ball first, and
that's why
they moved downfield.
Yeah, that's why.
Dak was actually. I mean, aside from the 3 picks that he threw that were dropped. Mm-hmm. He should have had a good 250 to 275 yards. And Lamb just dropped a couple of bad drops.
Yeah. That's why I was shocked. Like, I thought we'd see a 5.5, and then I saw minus 3.5, minus 106, and I was like, wow. And then I checked DraftKings, and DraftKings had minus 3.5 plus 105. And I was like, well, okay, I'll take that one, I guess. But no, it feels like the Eagles should have won by more. If Jalen Carter,
this game just got ruined by that delay because this game was flying along, and the momentum was just killed.
Yeah, there's no points after the delay, right? No points?
Just the Eagles had no. There was no points after the delay. 0.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
Dallas was going in. They fumbled, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah. Lamb with 2 huge drops. Eagles win with the most boring way possible. Well, it was an exciting first half, at least.
Yeah, the
But
first
no,
half was great.
yeah. You're 100% correct. The delay changed this entire game. I blame the loss on the delay. That's what I say. No,
And that's why you don't like Thursday night games. We don't
well,
take this from a
look,
contest
if
perspective.
Jalen Carter's not ejected, this is completely
Oh, for
different. Like
sure.
Dallas is
This
not
is a
running
different
with
game.
Javonte Williams. Miles Sanders is
No,
not breaking 50-yard
no.
run. Like, you know. So it's whatever. Like it was only a 2-unit pick, so it's not too bad.
So
Well,
here's
at
where
least
we stand. We're on
yeah,
the
go.
Giants Browns. I give you the Cardinals because I don't like Spencer Rattler. Let's go with Jacksonville and not be afraid by the hook and hope that Liam Cohn has his guys ready.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, do we go with? See, I just don't think we can take the Niners with McCaffrey unless we see tomorrow. Maybe he just didn't practice today. Maybe he's practicing tomorrow in full.
Yeah.
The problem is, again, we won't know if he's practicing in full until later in the day.
It's a 3:00 deadline. So yeah, it's not an East Coast team.
We won't know about his status until like 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then there's Atlanta, which I kind of like, and then Kansas City.
Yeah.
My only hesitation on Kansas City isn't the timing; it's the field and the fact that they always win by 3. Like 6 out of the last 7 games against the Chargers, they've won by 6 in overtime, 3, 14, 7, and 2.
Yeah.
And that's when they were just as good now, and against the Chargers, who were just as not good.
Well, Chargers from last year won't have their left tackle, and they won't have Joey Bosa. And then the Chiefs have what we think could be a good left tackle, and are playing with more enthusiasm because they're coming off the loss. So
I'm going to go on record and express my concern with the left side of that line.
Okay. I mean, Josh Simmons is a great prospect. He fell in the draft because of the injury.
You know more about the draft guys than I do. I need to see him play in an NFL game.
Yeah. I was told CDs go to football. Yeah. Josh Simmons, if he was coming off the torn patella tendon, he would have been a top 10 pick. Like phenomenal prospect. But he had the torn patella tendon. But by all accounts, he's healthy. So I think that he could be a big upgrade. Now he's a rookie, sure, but the Chargers lost Bosa, so they don't have as good of a pass rush anymore. And I do think the Chargers defense is terrible. And what I said before, like the Chargers just don't win big games. Like when's the last time the Chargers won a big game? I can't even think of one.
No, they don't. They don't win big games. And the biggest reason I like the Chiefs is that they got blown out in the Super Bowl, and at some point it's time to wake up.
Yeah.
I'm very confident that the Chiefs win the game by 3+ points. I think I had them winning here 23-17.
Yeah. I have them winning. I don't know what is the final score I have. I can't remember, but I definitely have them covering the 3. And like I said, I made this line a lot more. I just don't think the Chargers are a good team. I love their coach, but they have a lot of holes. They have an awful defense, and with the 2 injuries on the offensive line, that is a concern as well. I made this score 24-17, so we're 1 point off. It's funny. I look. We're waiting on McCaffrey. We may not get the McCaffrey news. If we can't take the Niners because McCaffrey's out, then we're going with Atlanta. And I would. You said it. You'd much rather go with the Chiefs than Atlanta, and I agree. Last big game at Chiefs week 3, they won 30-24. Yeah, that was 4 years ago. That was the last big win, right? So it's been so long. I am leaning towards submitting early, even though I don't like doing it. At least we got Thursday news rather than submitting Thursday afternoon.
Well, we're not going to submit Thursdays.
Yeah.
The only time to submit Thursdays is Thanksgiving if you like all the games.
Right. Yeah. I think you have to like 3, at least 3. It's like maybe not all 4, but if you like 3 out of the 3 Thursday games and then the one Black Friday game.
Right.
Yeah. So, I'm right now. I'm leaning toward picking the Chiefs. Now, maybe we get news at 2:00. I doubt it, but maybe we do. I don't know, but I doubt we.
Honestly, I still like Kansas City more than Atlanta and San Francisco.
Okay, I do too. I have a 4-unit bet on the Chiefs, and Atlanta. I have 2 units. I think Niners. I have 2 units. I'm not sure. So I'm on the same. We're in the same boat there.
So let's discuss that tomorrow. But right now, it looks like we're leaning towards Kansas City, Jacksonville, Giants, Browns, Cardinals.
Yes, I think so. What I do, you said you submit early to Andy. What I personally do is I schedule it on Gmail at like 2:55 for Circa and 5:55 for Westgate, and then I obviously check to see if it goes through. But I schedule it, and so if I make a change, then I just undo the schedule, then make the changes, and then reschedule the schedule. So
I always submit my picks on Friday afternoon.
yeah, I know. It's just difference of there. There's plenty of people who selected CMC and AJ Brown as their first two picks. Yeah, yep. It's pretty rough. I did not select CMC at all. I out of 200 drafts, I think I took him like twice or three times, just to see what like a CMC team felt like. But I wasn't high on him. AJ Brown, I had more of. I think AJ Brown will be fine. I'm not too concerned about him. I think he could be a buy low. I don't think CMC's will buy anything at this point. So while that 365 boost of Eagles minus money line plus 100 saved me tonight, but it jinxed the spread. I swear those boosts are bad luck. Yeah. Sometimes they are. A nice live line minus 3.5. I don't know how the Eagles offense saw that badly. Yeah, we just talked about like how the delay just like ruined the momentum of both offenses. Like they didn't score a single point. Neither team scored a single point after that delay. I mean, like this is late for these guys, you know.
Yeah, I know it killed the momentum of the game.
Yeah, it really did. So we might have seen a different result.
I'm glad we started an hour and a half ago and
I know.
wrap up an early night.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I'm comfortable with the card that we have. Once again, for those tuning in, we like the Chiefs, the Giants, the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Cardinals. That's what we would submit on our Circa Millions card. Now, the dilemma we have is submitting early for that Kansas City Chargers game, and due to the archaic rules that they have in these Nevada contests, you can't change your picks for some reason. I love that because I'm in a very similar contest where you submit 5, but it's on a website and it's done like privately by someone, and like you could just change your picks. Like I can enter the Chiefs and then I could change the other 4 picks if I wanted to. It's just I don't it's kind of ridiculous at this point. You just can't
These rules make no sense. The proxy. No. Listen, I like Andy, great guy. 15 years, he's never once had an issue for me. So hopefully that continues. But the fact that we can't go online and register for the contest because it's gambling over state lines, that's insane.
It's the dumbest thing.
I don't mind flying to Vegas to register.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have to fly to Vegas to register and then have to hire a proxy to make picks in person, it's like, what is going on here?
I don't get the picks part. Like I get registering there, even though I disagree with it. I get registering there. But like once you register, why can't you make the picks online? That's just like stupid. Like you already gambled your money. Like you're not gambling more. Like you already gambled. Like you just submitted their money. You paid it. You're not paying more. You know, so you're not gambling anymore. You just already gambled.
Makes no sense.
How can you not submit your picks online? It's the stupidest thing in the world. I don't know, but I love Andy too.
Yeah, it is what it is. Makes you feel a little bit more old school.
That's definitely true. Did I tell you the story where I was staying at Park MGM, which is a huge dump, by the way. They just gave me a great deal. I was staying there a couple of years ago, and I wouldn't do that again, despite the great deal. I went down to the sports book. This is during the British Open, golf British Open. You know, I like betting golf, and so I was like, hey, do you have live golf betting? And the guy at the window goes, no, we don't have live golf betting. I'm like, oh, you could do that online. And he goes, this is not online. This is Las Vegas. Like, yeah, this is Las Vegas. You should have live betting. What is happening here? Like, why does Vegas suck compared to online betting?
Well, now you just have to have a different app. Every casino you can go and just sign up for whatever app they use.
Yeah.
And then you can use that app to play from wherever you are. But and the TVs, if you're in the sports book, are so delayed. They're like a good minute behind, minute and a half. So if you sit there with an odds screen, if you had a computer in the sports book and you had a live odds screen, you know the play like at least 45 to 60 seconds in advance, which is so bad. It's just not a way to watch. That's what it is. Everything's delayed. They know it's delayed. They know people are live betting delayed games. Oh well.
My TV's delayed. That's why I use the CBS tracker. I'm so behind.
My TV is usually also delayed, and I was way ahead of you.
Yeah, no, I heard the TV in your background. I'm like, it coming out of timeouts. I'm like, wait, I'm still on commercial here. I don't know why that is. I checked. It's every TV, and it's not just this one TV. It's every TV in this house.
The proxy lobby is dominant in Nevada. Yep.
It's
great stuff.
Yeah, it certainly is. All right. Anything else before we head out here? I know it's the game.
Listen, week one is really hard. These lines came out. They barely really moved, maybe a half a point here and there. We try not to overreact to what we're going to see. A lot of weird things will happen in week one that mean absolutely nothing. We're going to see some upsets. They happen every year. So there's nothing really anymore that surprises me in football. I'm just really excited for this weekend. And whether it's Super Contest, Circa Million, Survivor, getting back to the grind, get a good 12 to 14 hours in on Sunday, and then rewatch all the games Sunday night, start getting ready for week two. I already did my week two lines. I was actually going to ask you before to write down your week two lines just to see if there's anything that jumped out. So I don't know if you want to take a look at week two real quick before we wrap, if you have any opinions on some of the numbers. And the reason I do this and the reason I recommend that anybody should look at week two now is kind of write down your own lines, see where the look-aheads are in comparison, and see how much they move over the next 3 days. For what, right? There are going to be upsets. We know that. There's going to be blowouts. But is there really a reason to move a spread by a point and a half? Maybe in college there is. But in the NFL, the books shouldn't move that much. So maybe that gives you an advantage if you're ahead of the curve. And there's something like, I think the Panthers are really bad. I think the Dolphins are a bad team. They may win this week, and I think my numbers are correct. I have that game lined around to pick them. Who do the Dolphins play next week? I'm just taking a quick look.
It's right on the screen here, actually. It's Patriots.
Right. Who do you have there that's favored?
Miami's -2.5 right now.
Miami's -2.5. Yes, I see that. I made my spread in this game, for example, New England -1.
Yeah. I have that. I have about the same. My concern would be 95 degrees and humid in Miami. And New England, New England never even won there with Tom Brady. Like, they're going to win there with Drake May in September. Like, that's my worry. But Miami sucks, so I'm not dying to bet Miami either.
Right, and the point overall is to see where the lines are opening and seeing how much they move. And I'm just trying to look to see if there's anything really off that I had.
We could quickly run through it. I mean, Packers are -3 over the Redskins, looks like.
I made that line 2.5. I see a look ahead of 2.5, depending on where you're looking there and shopping. I see mostly 2.5. So I think that line's spot on. I'm trying to find a line that I was significantly off on, or where I think you might be off on. I'll give you a guess, or you see it in front of you. So Jacksonville at Cincinnati is a line that I'm 2 points off.
I would make this like 2.5.
You would make it 2.5. I made it 3.5, and I see 5.5.
Yeah, that's Jacksonville all the way. I love that game.
That's a big number. Yeah, so that line is significantly higher than what I would make it. Another line that I was off on by a margin was Bills at Jets.
Okay, let me see. Bills are -8.5.
Remember, Bills are on the road. It's in New York.
Yeah, is that it could be positive for the Bills. Jets fans could turn on the team very quickly.
By the way, this is a game where Buffalo's coming off the Baltimore game, and they're looking ahead to a Thursday night game.
Thursday. So I didn't. Let me see the Thursday night game real fast. I forgot to look at that because
that's the Buffalo Miami.
Buffalo Miami. Okay, so that is something that is a huge factor. If the Bills didn't have a look ahead here, then I would side with them. But they could be looking ahead, and if they beat Baltimore, this is definitely a sandwich game. But if they lose to Baltimore, then suddenly they'd be staring at 0-2. So they'd be more likely to try hard.
100%. You know the way I think. But if the line right now is 8.5 and they win, and the Jets lose, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Buffalo wins, Jets lose. That line is likely to go from 8.5 to 9.5.
Yep.
Or dare I say 10? Probably not.
Right.
So the question is what happens in those games that might be fluky that give you advantage, give you some value on taking the Jets plus the points, could be something to look for, right?
Sure.
That's what I like to look for. That's what I like to write down these lines as they are now. Steelers, Seahawks, I wrote down 4, and I see the line is 2.5 in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that line is
3.5 for 4, 3.5 for 4. Yeah, for me.
I think that line is way short. That assumes that Pittsburgh and Seattle are almost equal teams.
And I think public sentiment's down on Pittsburgh, so
fair.
The public might think that.
And I don't love them like you do this week, but I think Pittsburgh should be favored by at least a field goal, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Steelers defense versus Darnold. It seems easy. I mean, look, this is another West Coast team, 1:00, but we don't have a lot of data on McDonald. He was 2-0 in this spot last year, but obviously small sample size. So
I'll give you 2 more because I think these might be interesting for you, and I think it'll be off. Bucks at Texans. Is that Sunday night football?
No, they have 2 Monday night games.
That's a double Monday night. Okay, so both Monday night games. You get the Bucks Texans first.
Well, I know you like the Texans more than I do.
Yep.
I have these teams.
That's why I'm wondering where you would make that line.
I have these teams pretty even. I have Bucks at 15, Texans at 17.
Okay, so you think that 1.5 is accurate? I have that line over a field goal.
Okay, yeah, we disagree there. I really hate Houston's offense with that line. CJ Stroud looked lost last year at the end of the year when his receivers got hurt, and now Christian Kirk's already hurt. They only have Nico Collins there at receiver. They don't have anything else. At least in the first half last year, they had Diggs and Dell. They were good. That offense was good in the first half of the year. But then now there's no Diggs, there's no Dell, there's no Tunsil. But I agree with you on the defense. The defense is awesome, but the offense sucks. So I think they're an average team.
Well, let's see. And the last but not least, Chargers at Raiders. I'm way off on this line.
Okay, let me pull up my power rankings to see where I have these teams. That'll tell me. I have the Chargers 12. I have the Raiders 21. So the Raiders are Group C at the bottom, and Chargers are Group C at the top. So I think the Raiders don't have a home field advantage. So I think I don't know. I think Chargers -3 makes sense to me. This is the sort of game. Remember, the Chargers are going to have 2 extra days of prep too. This is the sort of game that the Chargers win. This is a Jim Harbaugh dominates an opponent sort of game. Dominates a bad opponent. We saw that constantly last year. They just obliterated bad teams. And if the Raiders are a bad team, then I think the Chargers could do the same thing to them. But if the Raiders are an above average team with this new with Geno there and Genti, and I think Dante Thorne's gonna be awesome. And maybe if their defense plays better than expected with Pete Carroll there, now you could be right about this. Maybe the Raiders will cover this number, maybe win. But I think the Raiders to me are an unknown right now, just because I Pete Carroll's 1,000,000 years old, and Geno, I don't know, he's not that great. The Raiders' offense line worries me outside of Colton Miller. And I don't know what the defense is going to do. That to me is the biggest question mark. We know the Raiders' defensive line is great, but the rest of it could be a disaster. They lost Spillane, their secondary looks like this is shambles. But what if Pete Carroll coaches up that defense like he's always done with this team? So
yeah, I look at that game, divisional game. Even though it's not much of a home field, I still think 3 is a bit much. But we'll see. And the reason I write these down is I want to see, based on the results of this week, how much the books overreact or don't overreact or don't react enough. So that's why it's important for me to write down these numbers, write down my own numbers without seeing the lines, then writing down where the lines open, and then tracking the movement.
Eagles Chiefs is the big game. What are your thoughts on that one?
Eagles Chiefs. I have Philly minus. Interesting. My power rating has Philly -1.5, but I didn't think that was fair, so I made the Chiefs -1. And I think 1.5 is. When I went through my schedule, my 272, as you call it, I gave the Chiefs the win.
Yeah, me too.
But that was more revenge factor.
Yeah, I think this line is correct.
Yeah, no,
Or
I think this line is good.
maybe it's like a half point off or maybe 1 point off. But I think there are other factors here. Obviously, the revenge. Like when this game came out, like the Chiefs circled it for sure. Like
Sure, absolutely.
they've been thinking about this game for 5 months. So I like that. That is a big factor here. So I'd definitely be leaning. This would be like Chiefs or nothing for me at this point, especially if like Landon Dickerson walked off the field. Like if he's out, like that's a big deal. So because the Eagles already lost the guard from last year with Becton gone. So if they're missing 2 linemen from last year, suddenly that becomes problematic.
Right.
Yeah,
so, this is the type of game in the regular season that I'm generally not putting in a contest.
It makes sense. It's kind of like Ravens Bills.
Right,
so.
Exactly. I just don't see a lot of value in picking that game. It's almost like a coin flip. Mm-hmm. I'd rather live bet that game like you did tonight with the team that goes down first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who do you see winning the Niners game? Against Seattle, we have the Niners, but
we have the Niners either way. The question is McCaffrey for making it worthy of a contest pick.
Right. Yeah, we don't know McCaffrey's status, so that's the issue. Let's see. We Panthers Cardinals again. That's revenge for Arizona. Just kidding. Niners Saints. I think not. Again, like how it like San Francisco only -7 when Arizona's -6.5. It doesn't make sense, does it? Like they're saying San Francisco is only half a point better than Arizona.
That's interesting.
That's weird, isn't it?
I thought the Niners 2.5 points better than Arizona.
Yeah, I thought if Arizona's -6.5, I thought we'd see like 8 at least for San Francisco.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's weird. All right, we talked about Seattle Seahawks, Chicago, Detroit. This is Ben Johnson revenge game. Yeah, I'm down on the Lions this year, so I would be. This would be like -3 for me.
Wow, I have that -6.
Okay, we disagree on the Lions. We know that. Bills Jets we talked about. Rams Titans. This is again Stafford. We don't know Stafford's back status. That's the issue. Yeah, Cowboys Giants will be interesting. If the Giants win, I don't know what that does to this line, and I wonder if Dallas like nearly winning this game it affects that at all. But I thought when I made this line, I thought these teams are about even, and maybe the Giants are even a little bit better, and I thought this line should be like Cowboys -1 or pick them. And so I wonder if funny ESPN bet has +4.5 where everything else is +3. I like the Giants here at first glance.
Yeah, +3 I would too. Okay. Absolutely a game they can win.
Okay.
Give me my 3 points.
Yeah. And Browns Ravens. Is this redux from last year where the Ravens
the Ravens coming off a win or a loss?
Well, yeah, exactly. The Ravens choke in week 2 like they did last year.
Yeah, against the Raiders with a 7-point lead.
Yeah, and they were coming off a loss in week 2 last year.
They lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah, that didn't even matter. That didn't even matter. They had extra time to prepare. It didn't even matter.
Knocked me out of Survivor. One of my Survivors.
Yeah. Are you taking the Ravens Survivor again?
Not this week.
No, I meant week 2.
Sure, absolutely. Hopefully, I have 5 entries that advance, and the Ravens will be in one of them. Although, do the Ravens play on Christmas or Thanksgiving? Baltimore.
I don't think they play.
They play on Thanksgiving.
They do.
Yeah. So I probably would not take the Ravens.
Who do they play on Thanksgiving?
Cincinnati.
Is that Black Friday game?
No, that's the Thursday night
game. Oh, okay. Weird.
The Black Friday game is the Eagles Bears.
Right. I knew. Okay, yeah, I knew that one. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, maybe you say Baltimore then.
You have to say when you're in Circa Survivor, you have to save teams for options for the Thursday, Thanksgiving, and the Christmas. Mm-hmm. You just have to save those teams.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no shot. You get boxed out.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I just don't do the contest. I don't know.
I'll convince you to do it one of these years. Well, we're going to do the Grandissimo next year.
Yeah. If we win the
we're gonna raise $100,000 and join the Grandissimo.
If and when we win the Circa Millions, I'll do it. I don't know how we're gonna raise 100,000, but like otherwise, but yeah, if and when we win the Circa Millions, I'll join you on that one.
Okay.
Um,
Done.
all right. And so yeah, I guess that's it. Like every other game doesn't stand out
Yeah,
to
no,
me.
that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll finalize it tomorrow via text and whatnot. So yeah, right now it looks like our card's going to be what is it? Chiefs, Browns, Giants, Jaguars, Cardinals. But that could be pending due to any news that breaks tomorrow. So
Sounds
all right,
good.
yeah, great show tonight. Didn't think we could be doing that early, but it worked out. The Eagles didn't cover the spread, but we had weird circumstances in this game. But so at least we covered the -3.5, and at least Hurts and Barkley both scored touchdowns, which was nice. All right, any final thoughts?
Welcome back to NFL football.
Yep,
Happy
absolutely.
holidays, everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, hope you have a great weekend. If you don't join us tomorrow night, we'll be going live with Tom probably like around 11 o'clock is when I'm going to be done going through all my injury updates and whatnot, which I'll have that Excel file on the site for premium users. So if you don't have a premium subscription, you can get that. It's a cheap rate every month. Otherwise, everything on the site is free. With the premium subscription, you don't get any ads. There are no annoying ads. And I'm sure anyone who has a premium subscription in the chat can tell you it is super fast. You don't have to worry about anything slowing down. So visit walterfootball.com for tons of updates. Otherwise, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Yeah, Evan, welcome back. Loved having you on twice. And yeah, can't wait for next week already.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. Good luck, everyone, week 1.
Yeah, good luck to everyone and have a good night.